Good morning, orchid friends. This is Danny. It is watering day, so I thought I would show you how I water my Mini Phalaenopsis. You'll have to excuse my kids in the background. My younger sons don't have school on Fridays. So I'm gonna take you step by step on how I water my Mini Phals because it is different than how I water my big Phalaenopsis. I bought this little Tupperware to water them in because the sink is just too deep, and I do not, when I let them soak, I do not get water past this point right here. And so having that little Tupperware helps me do that. My Mini Phals have to be watered more often, and they like to be fed a lot. I use Epsom salt, and I use from my local nursery a 20-20-20, and I also usually have Cal Mag, but I'm out of it right now and I haven't gone to pick any up. So I will put in just a pinch of Epsom salt, and I put in, I don't measure it, you know, just a pinch of fertilizer. And you want to make sure it's dissolved really well. So what I do first is I run some hot water give it a stir. I let it sit for 30 seconds to a minute to make sure that Epsom salt has dissolved all the way. I like to water all of my orchids in lukewarm water, not cold water. It's just a preference. I can't tell you why. That's just what I do. So I have my water ready. It is all dissolved, the fertilizer and Epsom salt. And I'm going to start with my Sederia, focus. Sederia japonica. It is inside of a net pot that is inside of a clay pot with no medium. And I keep it like that because these are prone to stem rot. So I want to always make sure that this is very airy. So what I do with this one, I fill it up. And I make sure, we're going to have to add a little bit more water in here. I fill it up. And I make sure no water is touching the base of my plant, especially since this one is prone to crown rot and root and stem rot. And then I set this off to the side and I let it soak 10-15 minutes. So my little bitty one here, just get some water in there and I let it soak. Here we go. After I take the little bitty mini out, I'll add a touch of more water so that the water comes up and hits these roots here. Okay, I have taken my Mini Phal, the little bitty one, out and put the little other Mini Phals in here. I added a little bit more water, and as you can see, the water is just at the base of my plant. and I will let them soak for 10 to 15 minutes. And then afterwards I bring all my orchids over here and I set them on dish towels and let them drip dry. Now when watering mini phals, like I said, they like more fertilizer. So I fertilize mine every watering. And mini phals, what I have found out, they like more light than your bigger Phalaenopsis. My mini phals during the summertime get 3 to 4 hours of direct sunlight. But keep in mind, if you have just bought a mini phal from anywhere and you go home and you stick it right in direct sunlight, your leaves are going to burn. I have gradually increased the exposure of sun on mine to where they can withstand 3 to 4, even 5 hours of direct sunlight. I also have mine in clay pots. I told you 99% of my orchids are in terracotta pots. And they do well for me because I am an overwaterer, and they dry out quicker in these terracotta pots. They are in mostly moss, and they have really thrived this way. So while those are soaking, I have here the Sideria. And like I told you before, it is in just a clay pot. So here's my Sideria. As I told you, it's just in a net pot set inside of this clay pot. Here are the roots. And I set that aside. Dump that out. And as you can see, no water got on the base of this little plant, which is what you want with this plant. So that's done. And this one has some aerial roots. So what I do is I just dip it down in there for a little bit. Let it get some food. Here we go. And this is how I water and I care for my mini phals. And these, believe it or not, will be dry here in my house. You have to keep in mind when watering any orchid, you have to keep in mind where you're at in the States and your climate and your humidity in your house. And those will actually be dry within about 4 days. And so what I'll do is I'll just touch the top, and when it's bone dry, I do this process all over again. Now my Sideria, I water once every other day because there's no media in there keeping the moisture. And it has put on 2 leaves for me since I've had it. So I'm hoping, I don't know if it's bloom size or not, but I'm hoping I'll get a spike after this new leaf is done maturing. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you all have a blessed day. Bye, orchid friends.